What's going on? Hey, out of all the problems I was having, we went back to the old one. How are we doing today, guys?
I'm good.
And I'm doing
You're
wonderful.
good.
I just need to mute this because that's a rookie move upon all rookie moves. And I'm ready, man. I am.
I've been so out of it today. Had a garage.
I'm too ready. I'm overly. I got 4 pages of notes. I got to go.
So
4
we're
pages.
not going to have Fetch frequency. He had work that got in the way. JKL will be running a little late. Yeah, he'll be running a little late today. How are y'all doing?
I'm good, man. Just
Good.
tired. At a yard sale this morning. Got rid of some Funko Pops.
I seen that nasty comment you made about getting rid of Fortnite Funko Pops.
The crappy part is we couldn't sell any Fortnite Funko Pops.
But what does a Funko Pop go for in a yard sale?
As low as I could. I was trying to pay people to take the Fortnite Pops, and they wouldn't do it.
He's trying to pay people now to take the Fortnite Pops. Oh, that is funny.
That's awesome.
That is
Are
funny.
Pops a good seller for? I would think they'd be great for.
I had it's a lot of our real cheap ones, the ones that we've gotten in mystery boxes that just they're cheapy Pops. So I sold probably a good, I don't know, 15, 20 of them.
15, 20 of them.
I mean, overall, with a bunch of stuff we had in the garage and things like that, we made about $200, so it wasn't bad.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. I've never been real good at any of that stuff. I'm not great at eBay. I'm not good at Macari. I'm just not good at none of that.
That's what I got my wife. My wife takes care of the eBay store.
We have been in this house 13 years. There is a shelf that has been set aside for garage sale. 13 years. You know how many garage sales I've had in 13 years?
Well, see, we do. They do like community. Like we have our big. We live in a community out here. And they have like these big ones that the community advertises and stuff like that. So since there's a bunch of other people in the community doing it, a lot of people come out and
that's awesome.
Join in.
Awesome. Plus, when they do that people come for that because they're getting a walk, a court, or something. Our court hasn't done that, and like I said, 13 years I'm collecting junk, and I've never sold any of it. It's still sitting there.
Have y'all ever been into the yard sale shopping? Because there was a time in my life that I liked yard sale shopping. Yeah,
I found some interesting.
I cruise around now. I still do, looking around, and I get out and I ask two questions. And this is what do you ask for? I ask for two things: comic books and toys. Comic books or toys? No. Peace. I don't even look
pretty much
at anything else.
So JKL should be coming on soon. Let's jump into it because man, this was a really exciting one, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I still left me at the end going, "What the f?"
Well, yeah, I think that's by design, though.
Yeah,
I mean, I have to do that.
I keep making me want to throw something at the damn TV because it pisses me off where they end it.
Well, I think before we actually get started on the actual episode, I have a question for both of you.
Yeah.
Sure.
Have you gentlemen watched the cartoons?
Have not. No.
Okay. So
I leave that to JKO.
And I'll be honest, I've not watched all of them. Definitely, but the series is good. There's two different cartoon series that you can currently still watch on Disney Plus.
Okay.
One is Clone Wars, and the other is Rebels.
Yeah, I've heard of Rebels. Okay,
now, what they have done is the backstories that we're going to talk about in today's episode. The backstory to Bo-Katan and this group of Mandalore is flushed out in this cartoon series, and it's done brilliantly.
The only thing I recognized between that was what she was looking for, because JKL informed us of the Darksaber.
But the Darksaber runs deep, guys. I mean,
yeah, you know what? I think I'm just kind of discovering that, and they kind of led on to that in season 1, and I didn't grab it because I just didn't realize the significance of that Darksaber.
Mm-hmm. I don't even know where it is now.
So are the cartoons running in line with this?
Well, this is, I don't even. Where is JKL at?
Oh,
man?
he's
killing me.
He's coming. He's coming.
He's just killing me. Hold on, I got a note here because in the note will help us. It's called Bo. Okay, So let's start with the Darksaber because it has been referenced. We saw the Darksaber's first appearance in The Mandalorian. If you're not familiar with any of the cartoons, on the final episode of season 1, as Moff Gideon cuts his way out of a downed TIE fighter. And everyone goes, bah! The people that went, bah, are the ones that have seen this before through the cartoons. So in regards to the Darksaber, if you want a quick recap, the Darksaber is basically the key to uniting Mandalore and the Mandalorian people. Think of the Darksaber as the key to the planet. Whoever possesses this thing rules Mandalore.
Right. Yeah, I knew that part.
The only way to take it is to kill the possessor by challenging them to trial by combat, like the way Darth Maul did to Pre Vizsla, which is a story we can talk about at the end of the episode. And at the end of this cartoon series, Bo, who's in this episode, has that, and now she doesn't. So there's an untold story. There's this gap that we don't know what happened, because at the end of the cartoon, Sabine gives Bo the saber to rule Mandalore, but now she ain't got it, and she mentions some things that we're going to talk about coming up. So we'll get into that now.
She mentioned a lot of references in there.
I did watch this and thought about you guys afterwards. I was like, I'm pretty sure there's a whole lot in this episode that, because I don't watch a lot of the different stuff, I'm not the huge Star Wars fan, that I knew I probably missed. It was a good episode. I loved a lot of the fighting. It was way better than the episode before that. I would agree. But yeah, I'm hating the way they're ending these episodes. Makes you want to kick your TV and be like, what the hell? They couldn't find a better spot.
I like those cliffhangers. Those cliffhangers work for me. They do so many things. Lucasfilms has got so many things figured out to me that I just think are awesome. I mean, from their intros to the way they leave you in cliffhangers, it just to the little Easter eggs. I mean, like I caught the saber right from the first season, but I mean, even now they're coming back and re-referencing the Darksaber, which so the storyline is slowly but surely starting to all come together. I mean, it's slowly but surely getting there. But now I'm going to have to go watch the cartoons and see what I've missed in that. Because, look, I used to think that I was a huge Star Wars fan until I got around you and JKL. And then I discovered that, whoa, I'm just a very, like, what would you call that? An amateur Star Wars fan.
I have not taken, and now keep in mind that, I don't know what stories you read when you were a child, but not everything is still canon. Because now as Disney's taken over this property, to rewrite some wrongs that happened during the rogue era of Lucas's licensing everybody to do whatever, Disney kind of reeled everything back in and said, okay, from this point forward, this cartoon, and whatever movies we put out is canon, and nothing else matters. Whatever you read, forget it, because we're not going to use it. And if we do use it, we have the right to use it, basically, if we want to, and they have, because they just referenced some Dark Horse comics in this last episode. So, yeah, you have to know what do you need to watch, and now you got to start with these cartoons. It looks like you're gonna have to start with Clone Wars.
Well, a lot of people were upset when Disney took over, but I think Disney's done a great job. I think Disney does a great job when they take over just about anything.
Disney's amazing, man. Now, I'm going to throw out some craziness, and you guys have kids, right?
Oh, yeah.
All got kids? All got kids. Was it amazing to you, as it was to me, that at a very young age, and I know we were showing them Disney movies as babies and stuff, because that's what we would play, but how much they knew about certain Disney things as soon as they started to talk. I mean, it almost makes me feel, and I know this is the most crazy conspiracy theory. Go ahead. I'm going to wrap some aluminum foil over my head right now. Do you think children watch TV at a slower frame rate than we do?
Yeah, absolutely I do.
And Disney,
I don't think I really thought about it.
They do.
And Disney knows this, that if you sit the kid in front of the TV, what we see and what they see at their ages are two different things.
I can prove it to you.
If they are actually subliminally advertising to my child, and I don't know it, because some of the stuff and fandom that they have, that they've seen, amazes me. And I'm like, where did you get that? Them talking about Disneyland all the time, Disneyland. before they ever went to Disneyland. Now, where do you see these references? I just watched the trailers. They never mentioned Disneyland in there. But if we watch it at a child's frame rate at 15 frames per second, is every 15th frame a Disneyland advertisement? I don't know.
Look, I'm going to prove it to you, JB, and I'm going to prove it real simple. Do you still play video games?
Like, this guy's nuts.
No, do you still play video games? Do you still play video games?
No, I don't play video games.
Okay, when was the last time that you really sit down and played a first-person shooter game?
A first-person shooter game
that
I physically played was probably the Nintendo Duck Flight game.
Were you really into those games?
Came out. Yeah, man, that really wasn't my thing, but yeah, I see why people are big time into that.
All right, so as a kid, I was big time in the first person shooter games, from the 007 to the Halo to the Call of Duty. And look, I was good at these games. I could sit down with my friends and just tear them up. Yeah, I mean, so bad people wouldn't play with me. People would be like, "I ain't playing with you." They were done. So they came out with Fortnite, and I'm sitting down with my kids, and everything is moving so fast that I'm having a horrible time trying to keep up with the frame rate in which things are moving. My kids get on there, kill everybody on the map. You're like, what just happened? I get on there, and it's like, whoa, slow down, slow down, slow down. They're seeing everything in slower frame rates than we are, because their brain is just moving faster.
Watch your kids. I'm talking like my kid is 7 and 9, and they both play Roblox or whatever the thing is, and they are moving at such a fast rate up these little tiny crevices, jumping up to scenes that I don't know the levels. So how did you know that was there? And they're playing 4D level in their mind, and they don't even know it, because I'm looking at games going front and back to me, like Frogger going up and down the screen, and they don't think that way anymore. These kids are thinking 4-dimensional, what's above me, what's below me.
Well, my daughter's recently got into that with that Minecraft, even though it's set in that. But the thing she's able to do in there now is, I'm like, how do you even think of that? I wouldn't have even, that totally wouldn't have been something that I would have done.
Hey, JK.
What's up, guys? I made it.
It's a dark saber himself.
Oh, what I missed.
So anyway, that's my proof to y'all that the kids are seeing things at a slower frame rate than we are.
I just blew the show up. Sorry, guys. Everyone's like, you got to get that guy. He's off. He's nuts.
It's real. I mean, it really happens. JKO, how you doing, buddy? How's work?
Oh, they tried to kill me today, but I'm all right.
That's every day.
After the stream, I'm gonna get into bed and I'm chilling for the rest of the day.
So we've kind of been waiting on you. JB was talking about a lot of this references to the cartoons. JB, what were you talking about? You said that.
No, I kind of wanted to say before we jumped into the episode, had you guys seen any of the cartoons? And they had not. And I said, well, this is huge reference to the 2 cartoons that Disney has made canon to the story.
Yes,
and the cartoons are Clone Wars, which how many seasons were Clone Wars? Like,
Clone Wars went, I believe, 7 seasons.
Oh,
and the 7th season is where a lot of this stuff breaks down in the 7th season.
Yeah, they just dropped the 7th season earlier this year.
Between Clone Wars and Rebels. Now, Rebels is, the story of Sabine, the daughter, doing her deal, and how she finds the black saber on Mandalore, which we can go into all that stuff later.
Right.
So if you weren't watching the cartoons, this episode didn't hit is the home run that it did for us, because honestly, as soon as you saw the blue Mandalore outfit, boom, you knew, and I got chills. I
didn't know what the reference of him was.
When Bo-Katan flew down, and when the Mando was in the tank, I was like, oh my god. Oh my god!
Unbelievable. So what is it? Let me add this slide here. I call it
So I didn't catch that, but let me tell you what I did catch. I caught right at the beginning when he was coming down, and the one frog was meeting the other frog. One of these guys were actually like kind of hiding in the background. Did y'all see that?
Yeah, that was Sasha Banks' character. I didn't write down the character names, so I forget their names, but yeah.
Yeah, she was kind of like stalking in the background there about, and I just guessed that she was just seeing who was coming off the plane.
Yeah, well, she's a Mandalorian, so you see somebody in Mandalorian army, you're like, okay, who's this guy? Like, so it made sense. That was the character that most of us thought was Sabine, but she ended up being someone else. So that's cool. I don't have a problem with that. I thought it was Sabine at first because when the Mando told them to save Baby Yoda, and she was like, "I'm on it." I was like, "Oh, that sounds like Sabine." Right. But then I'm like, "But the armor is different." And I was like, "All right, so they're gonna explain the armor." But I was watching with closed captions on, and I saw the name come up, and I was like, "Okay, that's not Sabine."
He found a way to cheat the system.
I see this. I'm gonna remember that.
We kind of jumped ahead to Bo. Let's kind of ease back a little bit and get. I want your interpretations of the opening. The opening scene is the limping, busted up ship.
All right.
Coming up over this moon to a planet that looks a lot like Earth, honestly. Right. That's what my note said. It really looked a lot like Earth. When we originally in the trailers saw, him in the water, we were thinking it could have been Camino. That's what I thought, because Camino was a water planet.
Yeah, I thought it was Moncala.
Called Trask.
Right.
And this is a black market port that he's coming into. Now, I originally said something earlier that I kind of forgot about, because as I'm just consuming content like you wouldn't believe right now on this Star Wars. When he comes into atmosphere and his landing stuff's not working and we're getting this heat, I'm thinking, man, I don't remember ever seeing that before in a Star Wars. But yes, it did happen. It happened in episode 1?
No, episode 3. That's when Anakin
bringing the ship through the atmosphere.
Yeah, when they went to rescue the Chancellor.
Star Wars referenced this huge atmospheric, because it busted the ship to hell.
Yeah, it was already busted to hell.
Because usually the ships go in on their own guidance system, so they kind of counteract somehow.
An angle to get to not, kill themselves. But when the ship's damaged, then you're going to have this atmospheric issue.
Right. So that was one of those references where in Star Wars you never saw, except maybe that one time, and now it's like you're looking at it like, what the hell is this? Like,
why is
no atmospheric pressure when they land?
Atmospheric pressure. What'd you think of that, Wayne?
Look, I love y'all already talked to me enough that y'all know there's 2 parts of shows that I really like. I love the intro and I love the out. Everything else to me is kind of this filler that we fill the episode with. So when I see the intro, I'm like this. I'm tuned in and I'm watching, because that's my favorite part of the show. And then the out is my favorite part. Everything else is kind of this glue that holds those 2 together to me. I mean, because that's where you get your biggest forms, your biggest spots of information come right there. Everything else is just kind of the glue that holds those 2 together. So look, I loved it. I ate up every second of it, all the way down to the expressions on their face, all the way down to where the engine went out and it went into the water.
That part I left my butt off on that.
Now, that was pretty cool.
Did you notice that looked like a reclaimed at Walker that had
the crane
him up out of the water in the crane.
Yeah.
And then this planet, which is mostly water, has got 2 main inhabitants. One is the Mon Calamari. And then the other is I don't know who they are, but they're
Quarren.
What?
The Quarren.
The Quarren, and those are the guys.
Yeah,
with
the squiddy looking one. Yeah, they're actually native to Mon Cala. They lived on the planet together. They had like a civil war at one time, and in Clone Wars, I think Anakin was the one who helped them resolve their civil war. But they usually go to water planets. They're native to Mon Cala, but whenever they travel out, they usually end up on water planets. They kind of always at war.
Lady finds her husband, and don't you feel some awe? Like,
that was pretty cool.
Okay. How many people were expecting the child to snag one of them eggs out when he dropped him off?
I did.
That's what I thought too. I was like, he's gonna take an egg.
He was petting. He's gonna go.
Did you see the disappointment though when she met her husband? His face. I mean, you could just see the disappointment in it that he wasn't getting to eat anymore. He was like, oh. So much so that Mando looked at him and said, "I know you're hungry." I mean,
he was like, "I'll get you some food. Hold on."
with Frog Lady delivered, they need to pony up their end of the deal, which was deliver up me to some more of my
Mandos,
for other Mandalorian, right?
Yeah,
and the guys
they didn't really do that though. They led him to someone who knows someone. Kind of like, no, you said you know the Mandos.
Yeah, you see where it says LIQ? My cousin is in that car. Right? So and now think about this, guys. I feel so bad for Baby Yoda. No wonder he's always hungry. He only eats in dive bars and dumps.
He only eats things that are alive. Have we noticed that?
Yeah, he has a penchant for you. That's why I was saying last episode. He's kind of predatory, man. That's
but when that thing jumped out of that bowl and grabbed him on the face, you know he was
well, that's because his little arms couldn't reach his face.
Aliens.
Here's the first not an Easter egg, but here's a cool reference. They sit down and this guy walks up and says, "Hey man, seats are limited. You need to be eaten." Because he ordered for the kid, but not for him. He goes, "Seats are limited. You need to be eaten." And he goes, "Hey, I'll pay for information." The money that he crossed over was given to him in season 1.
Yeah, season 1. Yep.
Right.
By Grief Cargo.
I can pay you in Moncala, whatever.
Yep. Yeah, when he took in the first bounty, he was like, "I can pay you in Moncala money."
Bounty. Like he's been holding on to that the first bounty.
Because it's not good anywhere except for those planets.
Use it, puts it out there, and the guy basically double crosses him.
But this episode told me something that I haven't learned in it. Well, I mean, I guess we've kind of learned, but his armor must be really valuable. I mean, there's a whole lot of value in that armor.
Yeah, Beskar metal is one of the rarest metals in the galaxy, so it's very valuable. Yeah, which is why the Empire always tried to take over Mandalore, which it seems like they finally did. But yeah, they're always after that stuff. Because you can see it deflects blaster bolts, it can deflect the lightsaber, so it's really strong.
So he accepts. This guy comes over and says, "Hey man, you're looking for the money? Yeah, I'll hook you up. It's gonna be a couple hour ride on a boat. Let's take the ride. It's gonna cost you, no big deal." I think everybody feels like, okay, this is part of the deal. He's got to,
I didn't trust that guy.
Mandalore. This is gonna be the adventure, but that's not the adventure.
Once he said he could help him, and he did that little laugh at the end, I was like, double cross. So it's coming. Like anytime somebody does an evil laugh after they say something to you, come on, double cross is coming.
I didn't. Tell me what the name of that thing was.
Double cross is imminent.
The dudes are on the boat, and he says, "Hey, we're gonna feed this thing." What was it?
The Mama Core. It's called the Mama Core.
The Mama Core.
Yeah, I think it's a play on the Manticore, because the Manticore is like a mythical creature in our real life Earth culture. But in Star Wars, there was a ship called the Manticore, and I believe it was made by the Mon Cala. I think the Mon Calamari made that ship, so I think that was just kind of a little play on the words Manticore and Mama Core.
You're awesome.
Hey, it's in the name, bro.
They open up the cage, the floor, and they dump the fish in there, and then he double crosses them, and he knocks Baby Yoda in.
When he kept telling him to get closer, I was like, "Oh, there it comes."
Yeah, look, that's how I knew it was a setup. When he said, "Get the child close, he'll like it." Yeah, it's set up. Don't get him close.
Yeah,
it's
so
set
now.
up.
Thank goodness Baby Yoda's in this carrier that closes right as this thing. Whoosh,
he closed it, which
kind of sucks him under.
And that's one of those things that certain shows do so well, because if it had gone in and just closed, we would have all been like, "Well, how did it close? Does it sense danger? Never sense danger this time, whatever." But we know that Baby Yoda can close it when he wants to, because the first episode. So that was a good setup to just go, yeah, he can open and close it at will. It went in, he knew he was in danger, boom, he closed it. So that's one of the things I like about this show, is like they set that up. And when it happens later, you don't even think twice about it. You just know, okay, yeah, he closed it. It made sense.
So, what are we calling him? What are we calling him? I don't even know what to call Mando.
Din Djarin. The Mando.
Mando.
I call Mando, yeah.
He gets in, they close the cage over the top of him, and now it's revealed they want the Beskar.
Right.
Because they say, "We got the Beskar," right? And they're trying to keep him under. Now at this point, what'd you guys think? I thought he was going to pull out some gadgets, some Gazmos.
I did too.
I figured he was going to fight
a rocket on his back, right? I mean, what was he going to do? I thought something like that was going to happen.
Yeah,
but no.
But that scene showed me two things real quick. Number one, you can see that the jetpacks work underwater, so that was pretty cool. And number two, that his suit isn't airtight. Most Mandos, especially ones with the jetpack, when they put their helmets on, you get that seal, and they have oxygen. So if they ever go into space or underwater or whatever, they have air. So his suit isn't built like that. And these Mandos, their suit are, because the one who jumped in, you see, she ain't have any trouble breathing. And when Bo-Katan took her helmet off, you heard the seal. You heard it like that pop hiss.
I'm so glad you like straightened that one up, because I was wondering exactly how she was able to get down there and save him, and he wasn't.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, also, notice the logo on this is. By the way, this shot, everybody. This shot is not from the show.
No,
this
that's
shot
from
is from the cartoon.
Yeah.
If this is exactly how they came in.
Yes.
One man in blue. So, I mean, if you watch the cartoon, you just went, yeah. I mean, like, it was just such a freaking awesome moment. You're like, yes.
Yep.
Now,
so when did Disney take over the cartoon? What season?
I don't know.
From the beginning, when they bought.
I want to talk about the lady Katie Sackhoff.
I don't remember when they bought it.
Plays Bo-Katan.
Yes.
She voices the character in the cartoon.
Yeah, on the show. Yeah.
Really?
How perfect is that?
Is that the same exact one?
Yes,
she voices the character, and they got her to play the character.
And then she actually plays it in real life on the show.
That's pretty cool.
That's gotta be something really, just as an actor, just to be like, that is, because I'm sure when she's done the voice, she's had the image in her head the whole time, and now to be able to act it, oh yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's another reason why she played the character so well, because she knows the character. It's like she was perfect for that part. Looked like her.
These three Mandalorian come down and just lay waste. These fools had no chance against them, right?
Yeah.
Boom. Lay waste, open them up, get Mando out. He says there's a baby in there. One jumps in. I would have loved to have seen what happened down there.
Yeah, that would have been a pretty cool scene.
Cool.
Leave it up to your imagination.
Yes, what they did.
and then you got to know
bubbles in the burp, and then she comes
more
up
CGI.
With the baby.
They would have had to pay more.
She comes up with the baby, and it's damaged, but he's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then we come up with this scene, which I talk about all the time, man. When she takes her helmet off, he just goes, and now Baby Yoda even looks up at him and is like,
yeah, that was a cool catch. Like, he looked like, wait, what?
You know, like, you're not supposed to do that.
Because as far as they know, that's how it is.
As far as they know. Okay, so now wait a minute. I mentioned the design.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. That was a question I had. I didn't quite understand any of that, and I'm like, okay, I just got to ask JK and JB tomorrow, because I didn't get any of that at all.
Well, to put it in real world terms, it's like, not to get like it's a religion, but you know how you have a religious, a religion, and then you have offshoots of that religion, and some of them are more extreme than the actual religion. So that's kind of how the Mandalorians are. They whenever they don't have like one ruler, they tend to break off into different sects. So the Mandalorians that the Mando is with, they're more of the extremists. Go back to how it was at first. We don't take off our helmets. We're all about the battle, the war, things like that. And the Mandalorians that Bo-Katan are with, I mean, she was part of that Death Watch too, but there's this whole story with Darth Maul and whatever. She broke away from them. But she is a lot more on the peaceful side.
And this current group is called the Night Owls.
Yeah, the Night
Owls. Reflected by the artwork on her helmet.
And he's part of the Children of the Watch.
Yeah.
Well, that's
the Children of the Death Watch. Yes.
She didn't say Death Watch. She says
no. She didn't say it, but that's the reference.
But she's referencing the Children of the Death Watch, which are religious. They were of the old school. Now I want to let's go into some very cool history. People, the Mandalore are aggressive in nature. I mean, do you want to say they're aggressive in nature? I'm not sure, because
not necessarily in nature. But
what made the Mandalorian special was this material. When they got to the planet of Mandalore and mined the Beskar and found out that this material could repel blasters and swords, right, and lightsabers, they had one hell of an army, didn't they?
Yeah.
Well, I think that they're just an elite group of soldiers.
Pretty freaking lethal when they couldn't be killed with this armor. And they talk about in the early days, they actually, were fighting with the Jedi and people because they had, they were like, dude, what are you talking about? You can't mess with us. We got the best car.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. They've had wars with the Jedi, with the Sith, with the Empire, with the Republic, because they pretty much want to be their own people. So anybody who comes to their doorstep trying to say, nah, you're going to be part of us, they're like, no, we're going to be our own thing.
I think we've opened the door to who Bo-Katan is, and now let's talk about her. Because she says right now, well, he says, wait a minute, when they took their helmet off, where'd you get the armor? And she replies, it's been in my family 3 generations.
Right.
I am Bo-Katan from Clan Kryze, the last of her line. And then she says to him, you're one of the children of the Watch. And then she uses the words during this line somewhere. She does use the words, "This is the way."
Yeah.
It kind of calms him a little bit.
Yeah.
And you can kind of feel that he's because he's like, wait a minute, what? There's more to the story, really? What?
It's almost like he didn't understand that there's different plans.
No. Yeah. Now let's talk about her real quick. Bo-Katan is the sister of the Duchess Satine.
Yeah.
Damn, JB's doing his homework over there.
Yeah, I'm glad he was. I'm going to go watch the cartoons now because I didn't know that they were like direct correlation.
The direct correlation.
Really
the Duchess Satine Kryze is the ruler of Mandalore during the period of the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
But she is a pacifist.
Right.
Which goes against the history and religion of the Mandalore, who are not.
They're a warring culture, right? They believe battle is the ultimate.
Right?
They're kind of like Vikings. Like take Vikings or Asgardians who think war and fighting and battle is like the ultimate, beauty of life and all that stuff.
Satine's the Duchess, and her sister is Bo-Katan, but Bo doesn't believe in her sister's ways. Bo is the first time we ever see Bo in any appearance and ever is in a cartoon. It's in one of the cartoons, and she is the lieutenant.
It's in the Clone Wars,
lieutenant on the Death Watch, serving under Pre Vizsla. This guy is currently wielding the Darksaber, and under their culture, he should be ruling Mandalore, but he's not because the Duchess is.
Right.
So there's this whole long convoluted
story. A Mandalorian civil war,
It's a revolution and how he's going to trick, the Mandalorian people into saying, yes, we need him by causing ruckus and chaos on Mandalore. And since they're peaceful and they're not, they're pacifists, he comes in to save the day.
Yeah.
Basically, he created an issue with Darth Maul, and then he saved the day.
And then
before we get
Dooku and the Jedi, all that stuff. Yeah.
Before we get too far off, when they were taking the ship, and she made a comment. And she said, "These guns are going to do us well." So there must be a lot of them. I mean, there must be a lot of them because there was a lot of guns.
Yeah, there's probably more. One of the things
what was the deal with the guns? I didn't quite get that.
One of the things that the Empire is doing is keeping the Mandalorians separated. By the references of the show, I mean, I can't say this for sure, but it seems like they're trying to keep the Mandalorians separated because they want to keep Mandalore, because they want to keep mining the Beskar. That's why the Mando, he was like, no, Mandalore's cursed. Anybody that goes there dies. And Bo-Katan was like, don't believe everything you hear. So it's like they're spreading propaganda so the Mandalorians don't come back to their planet. It's keeping them separated because when the Mandalorians get together, they're formidable. So I think the Empire is just the remnants of the Empire, I should say, are just trying to keep them, separated. I think we're going to find out more about that as it goes on.
Here's the ultimate twist to the story, and it's not a twist. It seems like we have this in every single episode. She says, what do you need? He goes, I'm looking for more of his kind. I'm looking for the Jedi. And she says, I'll tell you where a Jedi is.
Yeah, but you gotta help me.
My mission.
Yeah.
And right in that part,
Side mission.
Yes.
right in that part, I
we go,
really
yeah,
wish he would have said like again or made a reference
Right?
to it like another one, like just as a wink to the audience,
Right
not
to the
necessarily
audience,
as cheesy,
not
but
like really.
Hold on.
Like,
Did anyone catch when they were scoping it out that someone made a reference to how bad stormtroopers shoot?
Yes,
Yeah.
that was awesome.
yeah, he was like they can't hit the side of a bantha, so yeah, can't aim reference. Yep.
So he says, "Yeah, man, I'll help you," but he's gonna go drop the baby off. Who thought that when he dropped the baby off?
I thought that he was
I
coming
thought
back.
he was gonna eat the
Dead
egg.
baby.
I thought so too. He's gonna eat one of the eggs, and they was gonna be like, "What?"
Yeah, I thought he was coming back to a dead baby.
Right.
And then he's petting the damn thing at the end, and we didn't want to be pulled away from it. And it's like,
He's gonna eat it.
I think that kind of went to show that he's a baby, and he kind of when he first went to the house, you saw the egg hatch.
Mm-hmm.
So he got to see, oh, this is a living thing in here. It's not just food. Yeah. So I think that was kind of a learning process for him.
I think it's also important, that there's been a lot of not a lot. There's been some backlash about Baby Yoda eating the eggs, right?
If
you, I don't know why though. I don't get it. I thought it was a great part of the show.
Yeah, they weren't fertilized eggs.
They weren't fertilized. They ain't gotten to daddy yet. They weren't fertilized. Come on,
eat eggs. There, I got some eggs in my fridge right now. What? So what?
I didn't get the uproar about Baby Yoda eating the egg. And what's funny is you notice that the moment after the episode hit, there's a Funko of the eggs in Baby Yoda.
Yeah, that actually came out before the episode.
Did it? Okay.
Yeah, it was out like a week or two before.
So what was the controversy about that? Because I just kind of heard some of it today. Didn't really see anything about it. I mean,
people are just upset because it's like he's killing babies, and it's like, come on, they're eggs. Like,
he's an alien. Come on.
Yeah. Like, get out of here with that.
I mean, I could eggs in a fictional world.
Exactly.
I can understand people feeling a way about it, but come on, it's a show. They're eggs. It's not like he was eating babies. But the fact that she's caring for them and they're her children, quote unquote, I guess that just kind of made people feel a certain way about it.
Yeah.
Because if they were just eggs he found, nobody would care. Nobody said anything about the spider he ate.
No, he ate that spider.
He opened the egg and ate the spider. Nobody cared about that. So,
he didn't care at all about that spider. He ate that one.
Like one of the memes I saw said, "F them kids."
The side story, the side mission is Bo's like, that freighter right there. I want to take the weapons off of that. And he's like, okay, I'm in. Why can't we just get on there now? Well, they scan for bodies. We have to wait till it lives. I think she lays out the plan. And I'm like, all right, sounds like it's going to be a pretty decent plan. They do it. That looks like they're executing the plan pretty well. But you can never underestimate what was the word he used? The hail the empire, or just I can't remember what exactly it was. You can't underestimate people that are willing to give themselves
a Hail Mary. I mean,
no, all hail the empire or something.
Oh yeah, that's
right.
Realize this. Now I want to build up to that because there's two things that happen.
Long live the empire. Long live
the empire. But he was dead serious, man. That was nuts. So they get in the ship and the pilots say, hey, we got a couple more pirates on it. So this is a common occurrence.
Yep.
Oh, got more pirates again. All right, we'll send a division down there, stop them. And
they've already gotten there.
They come back and say they're Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And the looks on the pilots' faces.
Yeah, they knew it was, it's really going down.
And they're okay.
Then they're like, yeah, I can't help you. Have fun.
And now the captain goes to the guy in the where he's like, hey, they're coming. You got to hold them off until we can climb high enough to hit light speed. Just hold them off. And the guy's like, all right, guys.
Yeah, I got this.
And he's all, I got this. And they start coming through and he goes, shut the doors. And he's just, shut the doors.
He ducking covered, man. He was like, I'm out.
And then he goes across the radio and says, I think we got him pinned down, sir. And the captain's like, you've got them pinned down.
Where
are they? Well, they're in the control room to the, the freight control.
They're the cargo. Listen,
And the door opens and these guys get sucked out.
When they closed those doors and I knew they were in the cargo room, I was like, "Oh, we're gonna get an aliens reference."
They're in the cargo.
Open the cargo doors. They're gonna get sucked out. I was like, "What are you doing?"
We got them in the car.
Said it, and the captain said, "Where?" I was like, "Oh, here we go.
Here we go."
So now, Bo has the communicator, and this is the straight up communicator from 1978 Star Wars. The round. He's like,
eggs. Yep.
Hey, Captain, we're coming. And he goes, well, I think Captain says something that you can take some of these weapons, but we're going to track you down.
Yeah.
And we're going to kill you. And she goes, I'm taking the ship. Get ready. Here I come. Now, Mando's like, dude, whoa.
Time out. What are we doing?
That's not what the deal was. We had a deal. And remember, Mandalorians stick to their word.
Stick to their word, yep.
And she straight up says, if you want to meet the Jedi, you're going to help me take the ship. This is the way.
This is the way. Yep.
And he's stopped in his tracks. He's like, because now he's questioning what is the way. Because he doesn't know what the way is anymore.
No, that's the second time she said it.
Yeah, that was the second time she said it.
Telling me this is the way, and he falls in line. Says,
well,
all right.
He kind of did. If you notice there for a minute, he wasn't even fighting with the stormtroopers at all. I mean, he had to make a conscious decision that, all right, I'm just going to end this. He's like, all right, I'm done. I'm going to end this.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, so he wasn't at first. It took him a second to be like, all right, I'm just done.
Yeah.
Well, they tried to blast him, and all the blasters are just coming right off of him.
Yeah.
That was a great part when he threw those grenades at him.
Yeah. Well, one of the contrasts is you got to realize he's been a loner most of his life. And Bo-Katan and her two, I guess they're her lieutenants, they fought more as a team. You can see how they played off each other and stuff.
Yeah.
And how he was just more of a tag along, and then at the end, not at the end, but when he like covered me, he ran out there. Like that's one of his moves. Like, I'm just gonna run out here, let them blast me all to hell, blow them all up, and I'll keep going. But he fought as more of a loner. They fought more as a team.
Yeah.
So you see another contrast.
I don't know what the captain did. So now the captain gets Moff Gideon on one of those
the hologram
3D, 3D hologram thing, and he goes, "We need help. We need reinforcements. There are Mandalorian on this ship," and then he goes, "Well, where are they?" "Well, they're in the cargo," and he goes, "Well,
yeah, good luck."
Please, brother. Yeah, handle it, and you know what to do.
Yep.
And this is where you can't judge for this, because this guy straight up kills both his pilots, takes the seat, and starts to nosedive this thing. He is going to take everybody
out. Yep.
And the team, we were like, I don't think we have enough time to get to get to him. They're pinned down. And then that scene where he's just, I'm going to take the shots because they can't penetrate the armor.
Yeah.
And he takes the shots, lays out those bombs, and they get in there. What do you think of him chomping down on the tooth with the cyanide?
That was an old 007 move right there. What it reminded me of. It's a 007 move.
Spectre stuff, like Hail Spectre.
Is he the only one that has the Vespar though? Is his armor?
No, other Mandalorians have it.
But those other ones that were with him doesn't have that ability.
His seems to be newer, so it probably can take the shots better. I mean, I don't know if it's one of those things where the older it gets, the less effective it gets. But in the first season, the armorer did tell him, like, your armor's getting pretty busted up. You're going to need new armor. So it's probably one of those things, because Bo-Katan, she's had her armor 30 years? I mean, it's been in her family for 3 generations, but she's had it for like 30 years. So it's pretty old.
Before this guy chomps his tooth down, he's chomping the tooth in the end because Bo grabs him and says, "Where is it?"
Yeah. Does he have it?
Oh yeah. Now at that moment you realize what the real mission was all about. The real mission was not about those guns. It was not about the ship. She wants that saber back.
Information on where the saber is.
Right. That's one of those throw-ins for the general audience, because most people who have watched the cartoons know she was the last person that had the Darksaber.
Mhm.
So now Moff Gideon has it. It's like, well, how did he get it? Because usually when it changed hands, it was by combat. And if you lost the combat, usually you died. So that shows us two things. One, she didn't lose it through combat because she's alive. Two, she didn't know he had it. If she had lost it through combat, she would have known he had it. So it must have been stolen from her somehow.
Well, but she says, does he have it?
Right.
Doesn't she say, does he still have it? She knows.
Yes.
Right. Moth has this.
Right.
And there you go. The true mission is revealed. They save this thing, blah, 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 blah. And now he gets his prize again. He thought he was getting his prize in the first 5 minutes, and they're like, no.
It's never that easy, bro.
The mission before I give you this piece of information. Now the information is, Bo says, hey, go to Caladan, the forest planet of Corvus, and find Ahsoka Tana and tell her,
Bo-Katan sent you. Yeah. Oh.
Now I think that she gave him
information.
I think she gave him the most detailed information yet. I mean, she said, go find this person, tell them this person sent you. Yeah. They're going to take care of you. So as everyone else has kind of been like, just go to this planet and
look around.
Look around.
Well, her and Ahsoka actually know each other, though, because Ahsoka helped Bo-Katan during the Revolution, the last season of the Clone Wars. So, no, not Clone Wars.
You only watch one season.
Yeah, it was the Clone Wars.
Watch the last season of Clone Wars.
Well, that's kind of why I was wondering when Disney took over, right? Because that's when the story plot's probably going to change a little, is when Disney took it.
Disney took over in 2012. That's when they bought Star Wars. And the Clone Wars started, I think, 2008. So, but the first 4 seasons are pretty good, though, still.
I don't know if there's a couple things we didn't mention. One, I did mention the Duchess Satine, right, Chris? During this struggle here, during this she falls in love with
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan.
Yeah, Obi-Wan and the Duchess.
And that's Obi-Wan's choice. You know how each of these Jedi seem to be falling in love when they weren't supposed to be. You know, and this is Obi-Wan, except it doesn't happen because Obi-Wan ends up watching her die.
Yeah, Maul killed her.
Maul killed her, and you're like, Maul, wait a minute, wasn't Maul dead? They actually explain in this series how he survives getting cut in half, and what ends up happening. So real quick, the Darksaber, we're like, man, Darksaber, isn't that something that a Jedi would use? Yes, it is. And there was one Mandalorian Jedi.
Well, not necessarily one. The first Mandalorian Jedi.
Mandalorian Jedi. That's right. They didn't say there's the first Mandalorian Jedi. Tara Vizsla, I believe it. He created the Darksaber, and he had all his adventures, which I'd love to hear about. But when he died, the Jedi put this into a memorial. The Darksaber was put into the temple.
Yeah, in the Jedi
memorial. And during this cartoon series, does it happen during the series where it's stolen there?
Or it was earlier than that.
Talk about it. It was earlier. It was stolen from there, and again, whoever holds it rules, and blah blah blah. It was handed down to Pre Vizsla, who is the person Bo-Katan was with during this Death Watch.
Right.
Keep it in mind, if this Death Watch was the Death Watch during the period of time that they're talking about, then it was the Death Watch that found Din Djarin.
Yes.
They're
the ones that found them.
Yes.
Into this, into the zealot ways of don't ever take your mask off, and we're going back to the old school.
Right. Because that's how the Mandalorians used to be. Because the before the Darksaber, it was the person who had the mask of Mandalore that was the ruler of the Mandalorians. So that's what they used to be. And when the mask of Mandalore was lost and they didn't have a ruler, it became the Darksaber, became the symbol of the ruler of Mandalore. Yeah. At least that's what I think happened. I mean, I'm not an expert or anything.
so let's back way up to his ship, because we're getting like there at the end. When he comes off his ship and he hands that guy the money and he says, fix my ship, and the guy looks at him and says, I'll make it fly. Did y'all catch that he said I'll make it fly? He never said that he's gonna fix it. Right. He said I'll put some fuel in it if
I'll put some
it's
fuel
still
in
whole fuel. He said I'm gonna steal whole fuel.
Yep. And then he rigged it up with like strings and all kinds of weird shit.
It looked like cables and ropes holding it together.
Listen, he did what he said he would.
He'll make it fly.
He'll make it fly. He never said he'll fix it. You know, he did what he could.
So where do we think the next place he's going? Because I think he's going to go see that lady again to fix his ship. Where do we think he's going?
Yeah, he's gonna go for reinforcements. I think because number one, his ship is crap, so he doesn't want to go to this planet and get stranded. And number two, the Jedi and the Mandalorian have kind of a rocky past. As far as he knows, he's going to an enemy. So I don't think he wants to go to an enemy alone in a busted up ship. So I think he's going to go find reinforcements, then go.
So do we think he's going back to, what do we call it? What's the name of it? Where they
not Navarro? That's where Grief Karga and Cara Dune are.
Okay, so do we think he's going to pick up? Yeah. Do we think he's going to go pick up that woman? Is that who you were referencing? Tarzine? Yeah.
Cara Dune. Yeah.
Cara Dune. Yeah. We haven't seen her yet. We haven't seen the other guy.
Yeah,
that were in the teasers in the trailers.
Yeah, so I think he's gonna go back there first.
How many episodes is this season?
8. There's 8 episodes. Yes, I was last night. I didn't really get to watch it last night, and all I could think is, man, we're almost halfway through like our Mandalorian Saturdays. I can't believe that it's almost halfway done. Yeah. I mean, it's almost halfway done.
Yeah. And you know they have to do another kind of quote unquote filler episode before they give you.
Yeah, no.
Think about the different reveals, right? So the character reveals. End of 1, we get Boba Fett. I mean, it's episode 1, season 2. This one we get Bo-Katan. We know we're gonna get Ahsoka. We know we got to get Cara Dune back in there.
I think they're gonna be in the next.
We're never gonna see any of these characters again until the finale.
Probably not.
Possibly.
Yeah, that's you're probably.
I still think there's got to be something with Boba before that final episode.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think there might be.
It gives you just a snippet of each of the people that they just teased during the course of the season.
Yeah.
Go ahead, JK. Go ahead.
And again, I think that a lot of these characters are getting their own spin-off shows. So I think they're gonna have to show them again and have some reason for us to go, okay, I want to watch and see what he's doing, or I want to watch and see what they're doing. So I think they're gonna have to show up again somehow.
Well, I think they're still trying to keep him the star of the show, right? So they're trying to keep him the star, and just like you pointed out, they're going to do spin-off shows of these other characters. So they're keeping him as still the star, and then they'll eventually spin off into another story, which is what I want to see. I want to see that so much more than y'all know. I'd love to see like a spin-off of Stormtrooper, because I know the Stormtroopers aren't that great as far as like combat, but they're not supposed to be, right? We have the Army, we have the Navy, then we have Special Forces. I mean, so they're just military group. I mean, so they're not supposed to be, but I really want to see some spin-offs with some other characters.
Having a Stormtrooper show, I mean, it's something that I was interested in from what was it, The Force Awakens, because the first thing we see is Finn go down to the planet as a Stormtrooper, and they're like slaughtering this village, and he's like, yeah, I'm not down with this. I'm not, and you got to imagine there had to be a lot of people like that, because then when we got to Rise of Skywalker, you met a whole group of ex-Stormtroopers who just left,
deserted.
So that would be an interesting story.
Yeah, so look, that's what I'm looking forward to that, and I'm also looking forward to the Obi-Wan Kenobi. I don't know that it's going to be as good as this one. I'm trying to not go ahead and set my expectations too far in the wrong direction, so that when I watch it, I'm not disappointed. Because I have a feeling if we're not careful, that's what's going to happen to all the spinoffs. Our expectations are going to be way up here somewhere. And we're just not going to feel like it met that expectation. So I'm trying to not like start prejudging it before it comes out.
Yeah. I'm hoping everything I mean, I don't think it's going to be as good as The Mandalorian, but I got good hopes for it. I'm kind of how you are. Like, I'm not up here. I'm like, okay, I'll stay down here. Let's see what happens.
It's going to be a lot of fun, guys. What's your thoughts? I mean, I know that we've kind of like put in there. Where do we think we're going from here? Do we think that we're going back to that one planet where he's going to meet back up with him? Because I really think he's going to get his shit fixed. I can't see where he can do anything else,
right?
But get his shit fixed at this point.
Yeah, I think he's. I believe he's going to go back to Navarro, either Navarro or Tatooine, one of those places where he can get his shit fixed, and then the next episode he goes to meet Ahsoka. It's something I didn't know because I don't pay attention to this part of it as much. But Dave Filoni is directing the 5th episode. And remember, he's the one who created the Clone Wars, who created Rebels. He created Ahsoka. That's his character.
Do they have somebody else directing each one?
Yes, it's someone different directing.
Oh, that explains why they feel so different. I didn't know that.
With Jon Favreau.
Yeah, Favreau directed the first episode.
We need to
it showed in the end credits. He did the last one too.
Each time we do the last one.
Okay. Yeah, the one we just watched. Jon Favreau did that one.
God, I didn't know that.
No, he wrote that one. What's her face? Howard, his daughter, Ron Howard's daughter. I can't remember her name. She's
making waves. She's making waves in the director scene.
Yeah, she
Ron
just
Howard's daughter. I can't remember her first name, but
yeah.
I didn't know that. That's really cool, man.
That explains why this one felt so different.
Who directed each of these episodes?
Yes, we do.
So we can see what
definitely do.
We can see what's coming up because, as you mentioned, Favreau, what was the last episode he directed?
The first one. The only episode he directed was the first one of the second season, the one with the crate dragon.
Oh, so
more cinematic episode because he's used to directing movies, so it makes sense.
The arrow's on his hand. Have we looked that up at all?
Oh, I didn't look that up.
Okay, so that's supposed to be from the director of The Last Airbender. I didn't know that they had different directors. So it makes sense. Like it's starting to make sense.
Bryce Howard
as to why we see the things that we see and why
that was an Easter egg because that was the director of that.
Yeah, that was the director of that one.
She started out doing the actress. She's the one from Jurassic World and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And she's starting to get more into directing, just like her dad did.
Yeah,
and she's starting to make some waves in the directing field.
Yeah,
they even got her talking about possibly doing a Marvel movie.
Yeah, she should.
Wow.
She should.
Makes sense. Look, I watched this one. Yeah, go ahead. So I watched this one and I thought, God, this one just feels different. It felt different than the previous one because the previous one, I thought, man, this really feels like OK Corral, Clint Eastwood. Let's bring out our 6-shooter and start fighting. This one felt different though, and that explains why. I mean, it really does.
Even the episodes from the first season, they all kind of have a different feel to them because of the different.
I think this one still had that feel with the video game.
Well, as far as the storyline,
they were going through the ship. It was very video game-esque. You're like,
side mission,
go.
Yeah, because Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni pretty much wrote the whole thing, but the directors come in and
you remember hearing the stories in the beginning when on the first season after they brought announced the child and everything like that, and Jon Favreau actually kind of yelled at Bob Iger because Iger called the child Baby Yoda.
Yeah,
and he yelled at Bob Iger because that's not fucking Baby Yoda.
Oh yeah, no, I keep telling people it's not Baby Yoda, but it has to be the clone. I mean, the more I talk to y'all and the more I like trying to research, it has to be the clone. I mean, because
now I'm thinking it's not a clone.
You think so?
You know how? Remember when I said that was my theory that it's clone because of the timeline? Now I'm thinking it's not because we know now that the Emperor had started creating a clone of himself.
Right, he was trying to clone a body.
He was trying to clone a body for himself, and I'm telling you, I think that if we watch the Clone Wars, there's also one of those episodes where they save some children, and it's because the Empire was not just hunting but collecting Force-sensitive children. Why?
Yeah.
Because they wanted to extract the midichlorians so they could pump the midichlorians into their clone. To make him powerful. That's my latest theory. So.
What do you mean Mediterranean? Say Mediterranean?
The midichlorians.
If you watch episode, I think it's explained in 1, right?
Episode 1.
So you got to go all the way back to the worst movie in the entire franchise, in my opinion.
Well,
it wasn't the worst.
The Phantom Menace. If you go to the Phantom Menace, there's a scene where Obi-Wan is getting trained by Qui-Gon, and Qui-Gon explains to him when they meet Anakin, he says there's something special about this kid. His metachloridian levels are off the chart.
Yeah, they're higher than Yoda.
Now, higher than Yoda is some ridiculous. And now the metachloridians are something that's in your blood or in your body.
I got you.
That also interact with the Force. And as you learn to deal with them, you can learn to manipulate the Force.
Right. I got what you're saying. So that's the whole purpose of the child is they're wanting to get his blood. I mean, they're just
harvest his metachloridians. That's what I think was my latest. That's my latest.
I still think it's a clone though. I'm gonna stick with the clone.
Stick with the clone. Until they I don't know. I flip flop on my theory.
I don't. My first theory was it wasn't a clone. That it was a different child, or it was a child of Yoda's that we never heard about. But now I'm kind of on that. It has to be a clone. I mean, because the timeline doesn't make sense.
I think it's a clone, personally.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guys,
we'll see.
But by the way, real quick, just to actually correct myself. Howard actually isn't being set for. I forgot, and I read it wrong. She isn't being set for a director for Marvel, but she's actually being looked after to play Gwen Stacy.
Oh wow, she's kind of old, but okay.
Who's Gwen Stacy?
From Spider-Man. That was his first love.
The actual Spider-Man. That was his first love after
Gwen Stacy
before Mary Jane. Yeah,
before Mary Jane.
And I actually watched the thing with Stan Lee, and when they talked about the death of Gwen Stacy, he was actually out of the country when they decided to make that comic. He did not want to kill Gwen off.
Yeah. Which is crazy.
My question is, how do y'all retain this information? Okay, so if you ask me
give me a Marvel, I'm all right.
I push out all the stuff I don't need. I push out all that other stuff I don't need.
Yeah.
Well, see, I somehow useless information. I retain those really dumb facts. Like, why do we walk in a room when people say, "Well, it started off on the right foot"? That comes from like the Roman Empire. So when they walked in a building, they always stepped on the right foot walking into a building because you start off on the right foot. I retain that dumb stuff all day long. Why Gwen and how Gwen and the universe is still here? Don't have a clue. My brain just doesn't keep that. Yeah, I'll keep really dumb stuff, but not that one.
I keep that stuff too because to jump on what you said about the right foot. One of the things people usually do when they go into a room is go to their right, which is why in supermarkets they set up stuff to your right.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. I can validate this. I can hold on. Let me validate this. I can so validate this. My wife and I owned a retail store in the mall.
Oh.
At the entrance to a mall that was a racetrack. There was several entrances, but it's a circular racetrack mall. And we were at the entrance, and we were on the right, and we were in a very, very tiny, tiny little store. And we did really, really well.
Yeah.
And a spot across the hall from me opened up. Just across the hall. It was twice the space. And in my mind, I saw twice the numbers, twice the Christmas, twice the everything. We went out of business within a year of moving. And as I sat at the entrance watching my empty store, I would sit and watch people walk in the mall and go right.
Go to the right.
Walk in the mall and go right. And walk in the mall and go right. Yeah. And all of the traffic drivers were going right. And because of where I was pitched on the left, people would actually come into the store and go, "Man, I thought you left the mall." I'm like, "I'm across the
hall." So you just look to the left.
Look to the left. No, because people go right. People go right. Yep.
I know. Put me out of business. People go right.
I don't think I've ever noticed that before in my life. Now I'm going to start going to every store and be like, "What the heck? This is bullshit."
Just watch.
Go to the left.
And right at the entrance to the Great Mall. This is the Great Mall in Milpitas. Entrance number 1.
I've been to that mall plenty of times.
Entrance number 1, and there was a water fountain at entrance number 1. And there was a little ice cream stand to the right where it pitches off. It goes up the hall and then pitches like this. And I was right next to the ice cream stand. That was a little tiny store. I mean, super tiny. I couldn't fit anything in the store. It was 2000.
Oh shit! I know exactly when you were
probably there at the same time.
My wife lived in Milpitas at the time, and we used to go to Great Mall all the time. I know exactly where you were now. Okay,
there you go.
And a tiny little store, and in that tiny little store, They used to let me set up the cheerleaders out front because I always had either the Niner cheerleaders or the Raider cheerleaders signing their calendars out front during holiday, and I was selling sports apparel because I used to work for the Oakland A's, and it was a big deal. So I knew the industry, and we crushed it in that little store, man. I mean, it bought our first house, crushed it. And when the store across from us, it was a coffee shop, went out of business. And I was looking at the big windows, and I'm like, oh, those windows, they're beautiful. I'm going to make these amazing displays. Ah. And then I said, wait a minute, twice the space needs twice the inventory. We can do it. We had a great Christmas. And I literally folded the thing up within a year.
Wow.
Because it was such a bad decision.
Wow. You would have never thought that.
What were you selling there?
Huh?
What were you selling?
Sports apparel. I had a little sports store. It was hats, t-shirts, jerseys, mostly.
What was in there?
T-shirts. All right, you guys
ready?
I
have to know just because I was in that mall during those
years.
Ready?
When I opened it, I was given, and if anybody who's in retail knows, retail space during the holidays is crazy expensive. People open up temporary stores during the holidays just for the holidays. There's no real reason to be open through the year. You only really want to be open during the holiday. If you asked a retailer, he'd say, I want to be open the day after Thanksgiving to the Super Bowl. And that's it.
Yeah.
Because that's all you need. Day after Thanksgiving to the Super Bowl, if you're in the sports apparel business, you're golden. Well, San Jose, a.k.a. the Silicon Valley, decided they wanted to host a college football bowl game called the Silicon Valley Football Classic. And to promote the Silicon Valley Football Classic, the Great Mall of Milpitas gave them a store for free. They didn't have anybody to run a store. I volunteered. I was going to get it for free.
For free.
So the guy comes to me and he goes, if you want to run the store, you guys can have it for free. But you just got to sell our merchandise. I said, well, can I sell my merchandise? Well, absolutely. You can sell your merchandise. And you're not going to charge me? No. Deal. So it opened called the Silicon Valley Football Classic, which was a store. And then I turned it into Team Pro Shop, which was just
I know exactly. I actually probably shopped in that store because I was a big sports fan. I know exactly. Oh, wow.
That's really well.
That is a small world right there.
That's a small world. There's a small world.
It happens. Yep.
Tiny little store with a tiny little footprint. If you want to be in retail, you need to have the cheapest possible rent. And the cheapest possible rent means the tiniest footprint you can possibly handle.
Oh, yeah.
And in my first store on the right, everybody that walked in through entrance 1 walked right past me.
Oh, man.
When I was on the left, I was screaming at those people, hey, look over here.
Put the sign out front. Turn left. Turn left. Act like you're a race car.
Yep. Turn left.
But now I will say it wasn't just the decision to go across the hall, which was a huge part of it. It just happened to coincide with the Silicon Valley burst. There was a corridor called the 238 corridor, which connects 880 to 280. That is, quote unquote, Silicon Valley in the Bay Area. That corridor houses the biggest and baddest companies out here, period. And during the boom of when I had a store, at lunch, this place was packed with all these little people with their little badges.
Well, back then, Great Mall was the one to go to. And then when Winfield started buying up a bunch of malls, and then everyone started getting together.
Burst. People left the Silicon Valley. There was buildings left unbuilt for years. Shells of buildings that never got finished because they're like, Silicon Valley burst. We're out of here. Boom.
Oh, wow.
The economy in California burst.
Mm-hmm.
It was no bueno times, and we rolled up the store and did other things.
Yeah, I left in 2007.
A small world. You guys were right next to each other. Probably interacting.
I probably bought stuff from him himself.
Probably did.
I didn't even know it.
Probably did.
Yep. Small world.
Guys, I'm going to wrap it up. Do we have anything going on this week we want to talk about, JB? Got anything going on this week?
I really kind of changed my format. I am going to do something completely different again. I've been doing these Funko Pop releases. I did a Funko Pop first appearance comic book, Funko Pop first appearance comic book.
I like those.
I'm going to do one with Marvel Legends action figures.
Ooh.
That'll be nice.
I'm working on it now. Marvel Legend action figure with first appearance, right? Since I've already got half of them queued up. Marvel Legends first appearance, and then I'm gonna do my top 10, and then hopefully I can actually come back with a nerd news next week at some point. We'll see.
Nerd news. Always like the nerd news. Those are good. JKO, you got anything going on, bud?
Stuff. Before I get into that, let me do my Easter eggs real quick.
Yes, sir. Go for it.
Okay. We already talked about it. The crane at the beginning looked like it was a repurposed AT-AT.
Okay.
They mentioned fuel. That's something you don't usually hear in Star Wars until The Last Jedi, where they were talking about fuel. So it's kind of like, okay, listen, fuel is a thing. Here you go. Leave us alone about it. The alien reference where the face hugger grabbed Baby Yoda's face. It's something I kind of noticed. Baby Yoda in the first season, whenever he was in trouble or somebody was in trouble, he was using the Force. He hasn't used the Force yet. He's been in trouble a bunch so far this season. For 3 episodes, and nothing yet. That's kind of weird to me. But anyway,
I think they're trying to build up to something.
Yeah, I think so too. But still, it's like, come on.
I don't want to interrupt the list, but real quick, when Baby Yoda went into his stomach, just for a second, I was thinking, this guy's gonna go raising up in the air, turn upside down, shake until he falls out. Yoda, but it could have.
That would have been funny. When Bo-Katan saves the Mando from the cage, when she reached down to him, it kind of reminiscent of his flashback when the Mandalorian saved him.
Oh yeah,
kind of the same thing.
Oh,
the communicator that she was using is the same one C-3PO had in New Hope. When the Quarren surrounded the Mando and he was like, "You killed my brother." That's kind of like one of them old school kung fu flicks. You killed my brother. I don't know if it was meant to be that way, but that's what it reminded me of. It was hilarious.
that's awesome.
The alarm from on the ship was like the alarm from the Death Star. It was the same alarm. Mm-hmm. When the troops got blown out the airlock, another Aliens reference. When you blow the alien out the airlock in 2 movies, it happened. When Bo-Katan says she's changing the deal, it's kind of like when Darth Vader told Lando Calrissian the same thing. When she said it's something I need to rule Mandalore, we already talked about that. That was the Darksaber. She mentioned this is the way 3 times to him, and he only repeated it after she said it the 3rd time. So I guess she finally got through to him, because usually when a Mandalorian says this is the way to another Mandalorian, they repeat it back. He didn't repeat it back.
I didn't notice that. That's a good one.
Yeah, and of course the Mon Cal money that he got from the first episode he used in this episode. That's everything I caught. So
you caught a lot more than I did.
Also, one of the things I noticed is that in the past couple episodes, whenever they contacted him, they called his ship the Razor Crest, which is something weird because you don't usually know what the name of a ship is. You usually know the model, but they don't know the name of the ship. And he doesn't have a transponder. So how do all these people know the name of his ship? It's not like it's the only ship in the universe
that's a good point.
That's kind of weird. And the fact that the frog people don't have names. Everybody in Star Wars has a name. And these frog people are just Frog Woman and Frog Man. I think there's a reveal coming up somewhere.
You think so?
The giant ant had a name. So
that's good.
Got a name. Not these guys.
Every character in Star Wars has a name. So the fact that they're just Frog Lady and Frog Man is kind of like calling the child. Like he doesn't have a name. So we know there's a reveal coming. So I think the same thing for the frog people. That's just a theory, though, not necessarily a Easter egg or anything.
I think it's a great theory. At some point, we're going to find out who he is, but I don't think it's going to be this season. I
think it's going to be the season finale. I think you're going to be something about it at the very, very end, and then you're going to have to wait till forever long for them to do another year until they do another damn Mandalorian to find out the rest.
Yeah. Well, since I got you guys, I wanted to ask, what do you think his name will be? Because we had Yoda, and the female was named Yaddle. So if we go by the Y name,
it's going to be a Y.
What do you think it's going to be?
Wow, that's very interesting.
I think it's going to end up being Yoda Jr. I really do. I really think that's where this is going. I mean, it's going to be Yoda Jr. How many people are going to jump off a bridge if they don't call this the child Yoda? Oh, there's going to be so many people. Look, they already if you look at the memes, they've already decided how he talks, right? They're like Chicken Nuggy. He hasn't spoken a word. Not one word has come out of his mouth.
Chicken Nugget.
There's a lot of stuff that's gone in his mouth, but that's about it.
Or the chalky milk, it's not chocolate milk, it's chalky milk. No, he hasn't said anything. I mean,
they gave Yoda baby talk, man.
I guess, but
I would say the best Yoda look in this episode was the fact that when they took their helmets on, he looked straight up at.
When he looked up at him like,
"Hey, hold on, this ain't right."
Yeah.
I think the best one was when he took that the squid and put it back in the bowl, or he stabbed it and it went back in. He gave that squid you mother. I mean, he gave it that quick a quick little turn to his head. It was a good one. To me, this was a good one. It wasn't one of the best ones I think so far. You remember how we were last week when the Jedi came and they saved him? And we were the X-Wing pilots, right? They came and we were like, I kind of felt the same way when the Mandalorians came in and saved him. I was like, I kind of wish that something really theatrical would have went down.
That was theatrical if you watched the cartoon.
I
you
know.
Were screaming at the TV.
For the people who watched the cartoon, that was like a moment to remember for the rest of our lives. But
for the rest of our lives, man, when we saw this, you were like, "Oh, dude, come on!"
Yeah.
And when she took off her helmet, and I mean, she looked just like this,
just like her,
and you're like, "Oh, dude, it's the same lady doing the voice."
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say. I was blowing away, man. I watched it after dropping the kids off, and I was like, I gotta call somebody. I gotta do something.
I remember seeing the messages that coming out. I'm feeling like, dude, I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, that's how we feel. But
I'm gonna watch the cartoons now.
Is like who?
Yeah, you're gonna watch the cartoons and then you're gonna rewatch this episode and go, "Oh man, that was awesome."
Do y'all read the comic books by chance? Do y'all read the Star Wars comic books? Because the last time I was at my local comic book store, they had some. I almost bought them, and I thought, man, I am so far behind that I feel like
if you can find Star Wars comic books, buy them because they're not the easiest thing to find.
Oh well, they had loads of them.
There's 4 current titles out right now. 4 titles.
Right.
Star Wars, Darth Vader, Bounty Hunters, Dr. Aphra.
Bounty Hunters is the one I've seen.
I'm reading 3 of the 4, and they're freaking awesome.
Yeah.
But they've announced that coming in January, Marvel Comics is introducing a new story, which obviously is canon, and they're going to tell the First Republic, the story.
Oh, the old
High Republic. High Republic.
The High Republic.
Now that may be a series to check out.
Prior to anything.
Yeah, that I might collect because I collected the Star Wars reboots when Disney first bought Star Wars and started doing those. So I have like Vader, C-3PO, all those early ones.
This Darth Vader series has been fantastic.
Yeah, the Darth Vader books are really good to see what he was doing. Like during the whole,
see what he was doing. He was pissed. Let me tell you what. This is him tracking down everybody that lied to him about him having a son.
Yeah,
and he's pissed, and he is just killing fools. One of these starts with somebody bragging to be Luke Skywalker in a bar, and he's like, "Hey, I'm Luke Skywalker," and then here comes freaking Vader's, chokes him out. Kills him and says anybody that claims the name Luke Skywalker is dead. Oh man, it's been good.
All right, you guys.
I'm gonna wrap it up. JKO, you got anything going on that you want to talk about, or are you gonna tell us no again? Because look, I understand. I feel the same way sometimes.
I've got videos and stuff coming, but the last thing I did, I sent you guys the message. I threw up the video. I'm doing 12 mystery boxes that I'm sending to 12 content creators. All 12 boxes have been claimed. So if I sent you a message and you ain't get back to me yet, don't bother now. They're done. But because I was considering like doing like a what do you call it, Secret Santa, and getting some people together. But this time of year, it's already late. Now I would have to get all the people, and then some people are overseas, and then to send the boxes and the money. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna send out 12 boxes. I picked 12 because 12 days of Christmas. I don't know why there's 12 days of Christmas, but I said I'm just gonna
quiet.
That's what I'm doing now.
Rich, you got anything coming up?
Tech Bud After Dark.
Yes, sir. Is that tonight?
Tonight,
this is what I want you to do. This is what I want you to do. Before you go live, I want you to shoot me a message that says, "Hey, dummy, I'm gonna go live." That way, I make sure that I go.
Hey,
that I
did
that
you
I
hit
like,
that subscribe bell?
Yeah, yes, I'm on all of the above. But let me tell you what happens. We are old in my house, so at some point we get to drinking beer and watching TV, and I just zone out somewhere and sleep in my chair. And next thing I know, I wake up and it's 11:30, and I'm going, "Oh, I just missed it."
I've actually got a special guest on that we've been talking again lately a lot more, and I got Fox Crown joining me tonight.
Fox Crown.
Awesome. Oh, is he dressing up or just?
I don't know. He asked me today. He's like, "Do I have to get ready for anything?" I said, "Dude, this is Tech Bud After Dark. We keep it loose and we just fly off the seat of our pants."
Did you see what he dressed up as when I had him on the show?
Show's been good.
Yeah, there was wasn't the Big Bird?
Big Bird.
Yeah.
He was Big Bird, and I was the Cookie Monster.
Oh man, look! I appreciate anybody that likes to dress up, because there's this side of me that really likes to dress up. They took my appendix out like 3 years ago now, so I had my appendix removed, and I went to Walmart and I had to do this little hover around because my wife wasn't going to let me sit at home and just be this pathetic piece of shit by myself. So she like drugged me to Walmart. I get in the little hover around and I'm so pissed off. I grab one of the dinosaur heads and I stick the dinosaur head on me, and I'm riding around Walmart, and people are giving me these god awful nasty looks as I'm like riding around. So then for the next week, I wore this thing while I was playing the Xbox, still pissed off. So I have an appreciation for people that like to dress up. There's some fun involved in that. There's some real fun involved.
It's awesome.
Guys, I appreciate y'all coming today. We're gonna wrap this up, and I will see y'all next week.
All right.
Y'all take it easy.
It's gonna be fun.
Bye. Bye.